Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the review room once again for another album review, the first one of March 2026. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the show. It really helps us out with album reviews like these. And as always, for these album reviews is the SLB himself, Sam.
Hey guys, looking forward to this one. So this one is a little different than what we used to, but probably in the realm of bands artists outside of our realm we enjoy heavily.
Yeah, so this is we did cover this band these 6 years ago for one of their albums beforehand. So please check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, so today we're talking about their newest release. Of course, we're talking about Gorillaz and their new album, The Mountain. And Sam, I will immediately ask you right off the bat with this one. What the hell did you make us listen to here today?
Well, I mean, we listen to the Gorillaz. So this is we were talking about this when we were recording Above the Ring last week, guys. If you watch wrestling, go check that out. Um Gorillaz is one of those bands where I can hear the song Feel Good Inc. from 20 years ago anywhere, played all the time, and never get sick of it. It's like it's up there for me with Another One Bites the Dust and Under Pressure by Queen. So the Gorillaz, I'm always down to check out a Gorillaz album. You know, are they all great? Are they all winners? No. Um, and clearly this one follows a trend from this year. The trend is fizzling out towards the end of an album.
Yes, yes. I agree with that. We will get to that. I know I asked you like, and that sounds like a negative question, like what on
Mhm.
God's green earth did you have us listen to today? But I will say there were highs and lows for this album.
Mhm.
Definitely for sure. I think one of the low points is, as you just mentioned, it kind of does fizzle out towards the end. But let's start off with, geez, oh my God, six singles from what I saw with this album. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Um,
The Gorillaz are known for releasing like half, if not the whole album before the album comes out. If I'm not mistaken, their 2023 album Cracker Island also had like six singles, five singles. The album before that about the same. So um this isn't new to them.
right. And I don't know, this may not be also new to them, but I'm not even going to mention any of the guests on here, except maybe for one. But every single song had multiple guests, and we're not even, if you want to check that out, please go do that at your own leisure. There's so many guests on this, every single song on this album.
Yeah,
Um,
they seem to get more guests every album. I mean, there were a couple.
yeah.
I'll mention them as we go through the songs, but
So I will start off with a weak point on one of the singles. The God of Lying is one of them. And I saw this is one of the guests where I know who they are, Idols. And I
Mhm.
said, oh God. Because Idols I saw open for My Chemical Romance last summer.
Okay.
And I was very confused with that. They started off strong and then, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I really like this. It was really hard to determine whether they were good or whether they sucked. And by the end of their set, I was like, all right, this band sucks. And I don't like that song at all.
It was yeah, it was definitely one of the weaker tracks. I think if the Gorillas hit their head on anything, their singles are generally strong. For example, the first one from September, "The Happy Dictator," which has Sparks. That's a band I'm familiar with. Not to go too deep into them, but they're one of those bands that there's a documentary on them. It's like a 3 hour long documentary. They're a band that is everywhere that nobody's ever heard of. So, John, you will go. I would suggest watching that documentary. They've been around since like the 60s, 70s, and then they go through their whole discography, and you're like, oh, they're in all these movies that I've seen, and I have heard that track, and I didn't know that was them. Um, so I did enjoy the Happy Dictator.
Yeah, the
Um,
Happy Dictator. It sounded like it almost sounded like the Beatles on that gang vocals there, and the voice of the Gorillas is always recognizable.
mhm.
In I wasn't crazy about the Happy Dictator, but it was like I said, it was instantly recognizable.
Mhm.
What I liked about a positive about this album was I'm sure there was a concept behind it. There was a constantly a Middle Eastern theme to it, and whatnot. But it felt like there was a movie feeling to this album. Like I could envision like it's something, something fairly simple as okay, the mountain, which could mean, a variety of things and have a or even have a deeper meaning to it. But I felt like this album consistently had a cinematic feel to it, I thought.
Yes. So I felt the same. It does have a lot of Indian. It says I'm reading the Wikipedia page. Indian classical instrumentation,
Mm.
which you heard in there. The beginning, there is a little bit of a callback. If you heard Dennis Hopper at the beginning of The Mountain, I think that's a callback to Demon Days, where it was. Oh, what was the track he did? Where he did the spoken word track. Sorry, I'm gonna pull it up right here. Um, Fire coming out of the monkey's head. So I think that
Okay.
was a cut from there because obviously Dennis Hopper's been long gone. Um, yeah, it did. I felt like I was on. You almost feel like you're on a journey with this whole album, even though like I said, it kind of fizzles out. It becomes very ambient, very like just. But it feels like you're like traversing in like the middle of somewhere in like East Asia. Like it just that was at
Yeah.
least the feel I got from it, going off of what you were saying.
Yeah, more of the high points for me. I liked Orange County
Yep.
was good, kind of upbeat, and I know that ties into the hardest thing prior to that. I really liked the Moon Cave. It
Hmm.
had that like old movie intro to it, and I liked the vibe of it. And almost every song had some of that rapping at the end, which I know they're known for.
Yeah, there was a lot of hip hop moments in this. They usually do, but I felt like there was a little more than
Cool.
most. Um, Going off of the mellow thing, I was looking for like one of those tracks that picked up that they're very known. Um, there was one. What track was it? Delirium, track 10, features Mark Smith. For those of you who don't know, if you didn't listen to Plastic Beach, he did the voice on Glitter Freeze back in 2010. So that voice came back, and then it kind of hyped up into that, Gorillaz esque dance
Yeah.
kind of.
And there were songs on this album where I'm like, this doesn't feel like gorillas. Like, the manifesto was a big one. I was like, Spanish? We're bringing. I did not expect like that to be brought in. It didn't feel like a gorilla song. It was not in my bingo card at all. um,
No, no, but I mean, this band is known for experimenting and bringing on a lot of different people.
Damascus was another one. I mean,
Mhm.
every single song still had that movie feel to it, and there was a Middle Eastern language in there. I don't know exactly off the top of my head which one. Again, I was like, maybe I just don't know the group well enough, but those two songs really threw me off. I liked them,
Mhm.
just very unexpected.
Yeah, and I know over time, I think this is an album where I first listen, I'm like, all right, this is all right, but I think it'll grow on me. That's been every Gorillaz album I've listened to. It's like, this is all right. But then they grow on me. They peaked at Demon Days. Somehow they made arguably one of the best albums of the 21st century on their second release. And Plastic Beach comes close, but not as close. This one, I don't know. I think this one's going to take some time to set in and really get the feel for it and how I feel.
Yeah, because this was quite a long listen, a little over an hour, 15 songs. And it does I will admit it does fizzle out towards the end, starting on the shadowy light.
Mhm.
Um Everything kind of starts to blend together, and I said, okay, I said by the point of Casablanca, I said, all right, I'm starting to tap out a little bit here. And I don't feel the album ends on a high note either with the sad God.
No, and that's a how can I word this? I always feel like even if you have those couple of songs at the end where you're like, all right, I feel like you're just filling the album. I feel like you always need to end the album on a high note. And
Yes.
I feel like not just this album, but this year, there's been a lot of bands where they just don't have that last track that really sticks in. Like you could like, there's been a lot of albums where we can listen to the first half, be like, all right, that's cool, and then clock out. And this could
I
be one
think
of them in the long run.
I think it's especially important when you have an album with a length like this. You know, I think with when you start to go over peak a little over an hour. I mean, these days that's quite a bit of time invested listening to something. So I think you should always end an album on a high note to
Mm-hmm.
like reward essentially reward the listener for for listening essentially.
Well, also, you want people to stick in. I mean, you can put all your good songs at the front, but if you put a bunch of junk at the back, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
Even if you have them sprinkled throughout the album, tracking's important too. Let's keep that in mind. Tracking's important, but if you need to spread it out so people can listen to. Not everything that's good in music is on the radio. So,
I'm gonna have to go back to this one. I felt like there was there was a cruising down the highway feel for a lot of these songs too. So I
mhm,
think when at any point when I have a fairly longer drive, I said maybe I'll revisit this.
agreed. That's pretty much. I think we're on the same boat there.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm glad that we revisited them, and I was like I said, highs and lows with this album. I was pretty perplexed by some by what they did on some of the song choices. But overall, yeah, I mean, I fairly enjoyed it.
Same. And guys, just tell us why we're wrong in the comments below.
Yes, yes. Please tell us whether you agree or whether you highly disagree with us in the comments below. Thank you for listening. This has been our thoughts on Gorilla's new album, The Mountain. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, do not forget to join the Bedlam.